Have you ever wondered what would happen if the government took control of more than they already have? In, or- in Orwell's novel 1984, it takes place in a dystopian world in London, a city in a superstate of Oceania. Today we will look at the following: settings, characteristics, theme and plot, dystopian characteristics and elements, dystopian and literature impact, and then my overall of the novel at the end of this video. So each part of this topics that I'm going to be talking about, like the following aspects, will be break down. So there you go. All right. So the setting in Orwell's novel 1984 is set in Oceania in 2050, according to Brennica.com. Another setting you could say is that the setting is also in a dystopian future. Oceania is governed by an all-controlling party which is brainwashed by the population into unthinking obedience to its leader, Big Brother, according to Brennica.com again. In this world, the government, Big Brother, is watchful of everything. So basically, they have telescreens, and the telescreens are basically how Big Brother watches the people in the world. Now, before we get on to characters, one thing I do want to say is that the pictures up here in this corner are the characters from the movie. It's just easier to use the characters to give you a little explanation of their characteristics. Alright, so this topic is called characters. And basically, I'm only going to talk about the ones that, if you do a Google search, these are the main ones that you're going to talk about. So, the protagonist of the novel is Winston Smith. SparkNotes explains his personal tendency to resist and stiffening of his individuality and his intellectual ability to reason about the resistance enables the reader to observe and understand the harsh oppression that the party, Big Brother, and the thought police institute. And they also explain that Winston embodies the values of a civilized society: democracy, peace, freedom, love, and decency. And with a protagonist, there always has to be an antagonist. O'Brien is the main antagonist. O'Brien represents the party and all its contradiction and cruelty. His functions largely to bring the reader into the inner chambers of the party so that its mechanisms can be revealed. Also, Cliff Notes explains this is what Cliff Note explains about O'Brien. Later in the book, like book 3, because there's 3 parts of this novel, we see Winston is being tortured by O'Brien in the Ministry of Love. The reason for that was because Winston was having a love affair with Julia. Another antagonist that is bigger than O'Brien is Big Brother. Big Brother, we've already mentioned Big Brother. He kind of controls everything, and he's the government. Literally throughout the book, you can see that it says Big Brother is watching you. And that means that every step you make, every sentence that comes out of your mouth, Big Brother knows about it. Speaking of Julia, the next character is Julia. We speak about her that she was having a love affair with Winston. Julia is Winston's lover. She represents the elements of humanity that Winston does not: pure sexuality, cunning, and survival, according to Cliff Notes. Winston and Julia were caught by the Thought Police because they were ratted out by O'Brien, Mr. Charrington, and the Thought Police. And that's what led to Winston being tortured by O'Brien.
While filming this, I failed to mention one character that was satisfying to me the most was the Thought Police. The Thought Police were, if I understand correctly, the Thought Police were to arrest people for thinking out of turn. Above here you can see a picture, and if you could see above the picture, it says, "Looks like you've had too much to think." Clever word play, because it is talking about something like you've had too much to drink, but instead it's think. So I thought that was pretty cool. Yes, thank you, Steve Harvey, for your wonderful remark. Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Harvey. Now, on to the next topic.
Okay, so the next topic we're going to be talking about is theme and plot. So, another article that I read says that George Orwell's use of the government amplifies the theme throughout the story. Censorship, freedom, and propaganda are prevalent throughout the novel and explored through the suspense of Big Brother's control and motives. Propaganda is any information, most of the time biased, to represent the central point of view. Though the use of telescreens, slogans, and other pieces of propaganda, the loyalty of Oceania citizens are controlled and manipulated by the party. Orwell's plot for 1984 was Winston trying to survive through the influence of Oceania. According to Cliff Notes, a place where the party inspects human actions with ever watchful Big Brother. Now, for this topic, which is dystopian characteristics and elements, this is very short because there wasn't a whole lot I could find for this topic. But anyway, dystopian characteristics and elements are that in the novel, people would live their lives in fear of Big Brother. Also, the government surveillance and political oppression of free speech was a main key in dystopian characteristics and elements. Big Brother has made it to where everybody fears the government, which is also Big Brother. And they didn't. If you lived in that world, you did not want to mess with them. Otherwise, you would not have a good day. Cliff Note explains that the London of this novel is dirty and crumbling, with food shortages, exploding bombs, and miserable citizens. So that is all that I could find for this topic. The next topic is dystopian and literature impact. Dystopias are able to push already real problems just as far enough to make people fear the future slightly more. Readers can connect with the text in such a way that they begin to see and understand issues more clearly when they are set up in a story-like format. This is what dailyfandom.org has to say about dystopian and literature impact. Orwell envisions that his novel, 1984, envisions a future where the society is in an incline. It also created equalities and weaknesses of human nature to keep the characters in a state of conflict and unhappiness. Okay, now we're at the end of this video. Almost at the end. This is my overall of the book. This is the last topic to talk about. Um, so, honestly, it's a really good book for talking about political based problems that could happen in the near future if we don't do anything now, if we don't do anything in the present. There were some parts of the book that I thought were just dragging on. Some days I just thought, oh, this is just getting, this is not making much sense. Uh, One thing that really confused me the most were the different ministries. I didn't understand the ministries. Other than the ministry of love, that's where they took Winston and Julia after they had their love affair in their little house, if you will. Um, but yeah, that's where Winston got tortured by O'Brien, and so that makes sense to me. But the other ones weren't really much talked about. I guess they were, and I didn't really understand it that well. Okay. Now, is this a book to read? Yes, this book needs to be read because it has political based problems that will happen if we don't do anything now. Now, should it be read in class? Honestly, yes and no. I don't think it should be read in an English class. Honestly, I think it should be read in a government based, political based class. We do have a government class, but I don't think there's not much political ones. But I just think we can read more books that are in the subject English than this book. Um, because when we started reading this book did not make any sense to me at all. Until I went to my father one day at the table, the where we eat, and I said that this book is boring. He said, "You are out of your mind. This book is about political based stuff and how if we don't do anything like we have now, if we don't do anything about the government, the government is going to be like us. They're going to be like the book." Um, so yeah, that's basically my little understanding. Um, there is one thing that I did not mention, and I will show it up right here, right now. This is a thing about the thought police. Basically, the thought police were.
You've made it to the end of today's video. Some things I wanted to say. Thank you guys for watching this video. I had a lot of fun creating this video for you guys. It was a blast. I also want to say thank you to all these websites that are coming up on the screen right now. They are where I got a lot of information from to talk about to you guys. Yeah. If you have never read the book, which I will be probably presenting this to my class, then you already have. But if you haven't, go check it out. It's a really good book. And yeah, that's all I have. So until next time, take care.